Okay, let's say for instance we have ISKCON in a Muslim country. So they need to be underground. So a basic assumption acquired by dealing with issues of external adaptation is that we don't sing in public. We don't wear Vaishnava attire, Vaishnava clothing in public. And become assumptions. Nobody even questions them. Okay? Internal integration. In some place, they develop different administrative forms, and I know that because, again, I'm in the GBC organizational development, and we have seen how historically different groups, different ISKCON branches, different ISKCON nations have developed in slightly different ways. And for the people joining there, that's the way. That's the way how the National Council works, that's the nature of the power of the temple presidents, that's the nature of how you join, say, a Namahata or council of groups. That's a local culture. It works for them. So it's accepted. This is the way we do things. And it becomes part of our, again, culture. It becomes part of our psychological setup. That's the way we think. That's the way we act. Is it more clear? Human beings need cognitive stability. We feel, if things always change, we feel confused. So as human beings, we need some sort of, we need to know that we know the right things and they don't change every day. If people are treated consistently in terms of certain basic assumptions, they come eventually to behave according to those assumptions in order to make the world stable and predictable. We are looking for stability, and so if in our organization there are certain pattern of behavior and we are treated, we really start behaving in this way. Like for instance, probably, I mean, you are probably, most of you, all of you are from Hindu background, so you have been going to the temples from when you were a child, right? But probably, most of you were not paying businesses on the ground, right? It's not, you just do some sort of whatever, whatever. Okay, but now in ISKCON, you started coming to ISKCON, and then it's a normal thing to pay your business in the ground. And I'm sure even when you go to other temples, you pay your business in the ground because it's part of your behavior. That's a pattern you have assumed. And you start behaving according to the assumption. So your world is stable. You know that when you go to a temple of God, or even a demigod, you pay your businesses on the ground. It's a different way of. It's a norm that you have acquired, and it stabilizes your world, your worldview. Okay. It's a defense mechanism, of course. Okay, now 3 levels of culture. And this, if we succeed in this, by the end of this lesson, the next 20 minutes, this should be very clear in your mind. You should be able to repeat them. Somebody asked, okay, you went to that culture thing, I heard it was 3 levels of culture. What are the 3 levels of culture? So I would expect you to use your words, but define those 3 levels of culture. Number 1, artifacts. What are the artifacts? What comes in touch with the senses? Colors, sounds, etc. Visible products like language, art, style of clothing, etc. Artifacts, norms, behavior. This is the visible aspects. The visible aspects. We call this inside the apple of culture. When you see an apple, obviously you don't see the seeds. The apple comes from the seed, but you don't see the seeds. You see the external shape. You see the color. There are green apples, there are yellow apples, there are red apples. So the first is called artifacts, norms, behavior. It's the visible aspects. And again, language, how we talk, how we call each other, Prabhu, Mataji, Maharaj, art, what kind of paintings, what kind of architecture we use, style of clothes. So this is a level of culture, the visible aspect, the norms, the behavior, how we eat. We wash after eating. We wash just the mouth and the hands, we wash the feet. So all this aspect is the first level, the superficial level, visible level. You recognize the brahmachari. How you recognize it? If you don't never met him in your life, but he has the saffron clothes. And he has the kacha in his dhoti. Right? So he's not a sannyasi, he's a brahmachari. Okay. Second level. Espouse values. Okay, values, strategies, priorities, purposes, mission statement. These are the founder, and here is not, see, these notes are not taken from Eastern literature, so founder of anything. It could be Vivekananda for the Ramakrishna mission. It could be Ramanujacharya for the Shiva Vaishnava Sampradaya, just after him. It could be Henry Ford for the Ford Motors Corporation. The founder, the one who establishes the institution, the company, the religious group. And then there are different leaders influence the group, and then shared values become shared assumptions. And these are, if you ask, what's ISKCON for? What is ISKCON for? Beyond the art, the culture, the clothing, the eating, you may say, well, we have these 7 purposes. These are our propositions. This is what we want to do in society. These are our goals. Okay. The different temples have different mission statements. No, we are here to do this, and do it in this way. Okay. So those are like, in an apple, those are below the skin, below the surface. But still, they are more rational. Like we accept them intellectually, we think of it, we are conscious of them. We are conscious of our strategies. I don't know where you come from, but I'm sure your temple, your community must have some priorities. Let's focus on children. Let's focus on old age homes, building a hospice. Let's focus on book distribution. Those are things that may not be immediately visible, but form really the values and the priorities of the community. And then there is the third, most subtle and most powerful level of culture, the basic assumption, underlying beliefs. Beliefs that are so subtle sometimes we don't even know we have them. We just have them. We just think according to those priorities. So we have been